She is the bridge between India and Germany, we can consider.
I was already working in international student recruitment globally.
How Expatrio and Fintiba are helping Indian students.
So the blocked account is a specific account to also support students with their financial solution. Even if they choose an English taught program,
After getting admission,
they should start learning the language.
of course, Fintiba and Expatrio. Hello, today we are doing an important podcast with Miss Laila Irfan. She is a German citizen and she has come to India. Okay, she is not just an expert, she is the bridge between India and Germany, we can consider. Most of our viewers want to study in Germany or they want to work in Germany. So if you have ever thought of studying or working in Germany, then you must have thought about the names Expatrio and Fintiba. She is the head of sales at Expatrio and Fintiba. So tell me, Leila, how it is going in India?
Yeah, it's really going very well. So before I joined Expatrio and Fintiba, I was already working in international student recruitment globally.
Okay.
For students to come to Germany.
Yeah.
So I have been to India since many years, and I'm glad to be back and now able to also support students with their financial solutions and anything around the financial solutions and the visa requirements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how Expatrio and Fintiba are helping Indian students for fulfilling their visa requirements, or if you can explain visa requirements for Indian students?
Yes. So of course there are certain documents that all the students need to submit, and we help with a very specific part of it. So there's the requirement of the blocked account in Germany. This is a mandatory requirement, but then also the travel health insurance and the actual statutory health insurance in Germany. And this is where we can help. So the blocked account is a specific account where students need to show proof of funds, but they need to transfer 11,900 €4 into this account.
Yeah.
And once they reach Germany, they will get a monthly
Installment
sent to their bank account. And this is something that we provide, plus the mandatory travel health insurance, which covers the trip basically starting from India and then reaching Germany before they activate their actual health insurance. And then in Germany also there's a mandatory health insurance requirements for everybody who lives in Germany, not only internationals, also for the Germans. And we can pre-enroll them into one of those health insurances, and then we give them the documents that are needed for their visa appointment. So everything is there in their platform: confirmation of blocked account, confirmation of travel health insurance, confirmation of pre-enrollment into the German health insurance, and those are the requirements for the visa appointment that they need to fulfill.
See, it means after getting admission, Expatrio and Fintiba can help you with everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Till the student gets admission later, okay, we are supporting them really well. But after that, normally to our students, Fintiba and Expatrio are the two names we go to.
Yes.
Okay. Nowadays, people or students are choosing Germany as their number one study destination. Last year report, at the moment 59,000 Indian students are enrolled in Germany. So why do you think that for Indians, Germany has become the number one choice?
Yeah, so there are so many reasons, and also we need to consider a lot of global change, political change and economical change. And I think Germany has proven to be a very stable country with also an outlook for those students after they graduate for their future. And they get an 18-month stay-back option. So they have 1.5 years in order to find a job, convert this to a work permit, but then also there are the possibilities of permanent residency. After they have secured a permanent job, for example, for 2 years, they can start the application for permanent residency, and even citizenship is an option. So I think those are very attractive factors. And also we face a labor shortage in Germany. So at the moment we have 1.7 million open job openings
Yeah.
in Germany, and we need to fill them. So Germany really needs internationals to come, and especially in areas like healthcare, engineering, anything data related. So there are so many areas that I know also that Indians are interested in studying and then working. So we also have the jobs available, and Germany needs around 400,000 internationals to come to Germany every year. And yes, so I think there are great opportunities. Also, when I compare with a few other countries, family reunion is possible. And I think this is also an important factor, because sometimes students want to come to Germany, they want to finish their academic career and work maybe for 2-3 years to get a bit of experience, but sometimes they are thinking also of relocating. And then, of course, family reunion is a very, very important option, and this is also possible in Germany.
Yeah. Last month, Chancellor of Germany came to India,
Yes,
Mr. Friedrich Merz.
yes,
He has also told that Germany is a reliable country, and Germany is not going to change the rules
yes.
like other countries, like now and then. So I like the point that you have made. Okay, and another question I had is that how Germany is able to provide free education, not only to German students, but also to international students.
Yes. So, of course, there are also private universities in Germany. So we
Yeah.
have both. We have the private universities, but majorly we have the public universities.
Yeah.
And education is not considered a privilege in Germany.
Yeah.
Education is there for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think this is a very German concept.
Yeah.
So, and of course, for us Germans as well, it's free. And the public universities, there's a certain amount of international students who they will also accept for admissions, so they can also make sure of, so they also have the benefit of studying basically for free in Germany.
Yes.
So it's just an admin fee, so it's not really a tuition fee, so it's usually between 150 to 350 euros per semester, but that also includes their semester tickets, so they can use public transport. So it's really affordable, yes.
Yeah, student needs to pay only contribution fees.
Exactly.
But they can travel for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I would like to agree on that. That Germany thinks that education is not a privilege. So that's why Germany offers free education not only to Indian students or international students. Okay, not only to German students but also to international students. I remember that when I was in Germany in 2017, I think Baden-Württemberg state introduced a fee to all non-European students, and the fee was approximately 1500 euros per semester. At that time, many students were saying, were protesting against that, and not only international students were protesting, but also Germans were protesting against the fees, like introduction of fees.
Yeah.
So since then, there is a fee, 1500 euros per semester for non-Europeans, but in all other states, education is still free at all public universities.
Yeah, exactly. I also remember it's a long time ago, but they wanted to introduce a small fee for Germans as well. So they wanted to introduce around 500 euros per semester, and we all were protesting. So and then they also had to reverse it in most of the universities. Yes. Education should be accessible to everybody, not only to somebody who can financially afford it, so everybody gets the same chances of building a career and building a good life.
I was also a student in Germany, and before 10 years, when I was preparing for studying abroad, at that time I had given IELTS examination, and then at first I was thinking about studying in Canada. At that time in 2014.
Yeah.
Okay, but then after I found out about Germany, that Germany provides totally free education, and the free education, but a quality education. Okay, so I don't have to compromise on the quality. The universities in which I can study are like in India, if we can compare, like number one university is IIT Bombay or IIT Chennai. So German universities are highly ranked than these universities. So in 2015, I changed my mind and then decided for Germany. I personally feel that Germany can provide, of course, free education, but Germany can provide also good opportunities to students.
So the quality of education is also very high. So academically, we have a very good reputation globally, and there's a very specific accreditation process in Germany. And all the public universities who have, and also the private ones who have German state accreditation, have to follow the same rules and the same process. So generally, you can say, of course, we have very famous universities, very popular ones, TU Munich, TU Berlin, etc. But then all the German universities have a very high academic standard.
And because of that, I think most of our students are getting job after they complete their studies.
Yes.
Because German government is accrediting the programs based on the requirements, based on the job market. So I remember that before 2 to 3 years, when Paris Agreement came, there were many new international programs for renewable energy. Last year, there are many new programs came in Germany for integrated circuits, micro and nanotechnology, artificial intelligence. So based on the trend, new programs are coming, and that's this is helping German government as well and new students as well, because they get opportunity to study the program that is in demand.
And this is what I always give as an advice to students as well. Sometimes a student is coming to me and they always say, oh, I want to go to Germany, I want to study mechanical engineering, I want to work in the automotive industry. But then, yes, there are places, but also what is in demand in Germany? Because something that might be in demand in India or in any of the other countries might not be the job that is in demand, or where we have a labor shortage in Germany. So they should do their research, see what they like, what they want, what they can see themselves to be working in, and then they need to study something where they know, okay, I have really good job opportunities in Germany. And yes, those programs are available, and that definitely increases their chances of finding the top job after they finish their studies.
See, when a student comes to me for suggestion that which program he or she should study, then I always suggest them that they should study the program in which they have interest.
Yes.
Okay, because if German government is providing free education, it means that program is in demand. Otherwise, that program would not be accredited.
Yes.
And that's why there is a competition as well. All around the world, Germany has become #1 international study destination. So it is really difficult as well to get in those universities, in public universities.
A very important change that we can see is that more and more public universities also offer English taught programs. And I think this also shows that Germany is really welcoming for international students, especially on a master level. We can see more and more programs, of course, also on a bachelor level. In total, all across Germany, we currently have around 2,500 English taught programs. So I always recommend to learn the language before a student travels. You should at least start learning the language, even if you study in an English taught program, but it makes the start so much easier. And I think this also gets rid of the language barrier. So a lot of people were a little bit afraid before of Germany because most of the programs were in German. But that doesn't exist anymore. There are so many wonderful English taught programs with great career options. And then they have all the time to keep learning the language while they're immersed in the German culture.
Normally we suggest our students that they should learn at least till B1 here in India, and while they are studying their bachelor's or master's, they should target B2 or C1, like at least B2 before they complete their studies. So when they enters the job market, they have enough language proficiency, like at least they can really be good in the interviews.
And this is very important. And we do have a lot of companies in Germany where the company language is English, but also we need to acknowledge that a lot of internationals are coming to Germany currently. So there's very high competition for those jobs. And it increases the job chances heavily if they speak German. And B2 is a very good entry level to enter the job market. And then they can always naturally also learn a little bit more and finish at C1, for example, which would be a very good level.
See, I come from IT background. I completed my bachelor's in computer science. Okay, and I completed my studies from TU Darmstadt. I have completed fully German taught course. When I chose German taught master's program in 2016 maybe, At that time, everybody was saying that, oh, you are going to study IT, you don't need German language. But when I started job after completing my studies, at my firm, like apart from me, like everybody were German.
Yep.
So they talk with each other in German language. So if I speak English, okay, like many people say that in IT you just need to do programming or anything. Okay, but we have to be a team member, right? To be a good team member, we have to speak. And if we are not able to speak, then we will be cornered.
Yeah.
Like not completely, but learning a language gives us more confidence in Germany.
Of course, 100%.
Yeah.
And also when international students come to Germany, and maybe they are in a little bubble at the university because they have a lot of people there from the same region, from the same
Yeah.
countries, and that is fine. And it's super important because it's very important that you keep your connection to your home
Yeah.
country. That maybe you meet together, you can cook the same food because the
course,
food will be
yeah.
different. All those small things then become very important. But equally, it is very important to really mingle with the other students from the other
Yeah.
countries and to really also try to make German friends. It will be so helpful for the cultural integration and for the learning, for the language learning, of course.
Like to all my students, just don't sit at home. Go outside. That is my
Yes.
suggestion.
Yes, absolutely. And also German universities. So
Yeah.
you have in Germany you have like different lives basically. Is for example in the United States everything happens on campus. The whole life is on
Yeah.
campus. In Germany it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Of course there are sports activities, different activities on campus. There are campus parties,
Yeah.
and there's a lot happening on campus. But there's also a lot happening off campus. Germany has more than 90,000 sports clubs. And those don't cost much. So they have an
Yeah.
annual fee, maybe 30 euros, 50 euros. And it can be any kind of sports, but not only professional or not only football. It can be cricket. Cricket is becoming very popular in
Yes,
Germany.
of course.
Chess, rowing, sailing, running. So there are so many activities that you
Yeah.
can do where you also have another life outside of university, and you can follow your hobbies, your interests, or you can join book clubs, theater clubs. So anything that interests you, and this is a very good way also to make new friends and to make German friends. And then, of course, if a student decides to work part-time, this is the third part,
Yeah.
where they can also meet more Germans and
Yeah.
already start a little bit to get job experience.
I personally feel that working part time is a necessity for most of the Indian students because they have to cover their finances as well.
Yes.
But students should not think that this is just for covering finances. Students should think that this is a must activity because they can meet new people. And if they will work, then of course they will not get bored at home. And in life, we need people around us.
Yes,
So
exactly.
if they will work, then they can chit chat, like they will feel really good when they work.
Yeah, definitely. And it opens up another friend circle.
Yeah.
So they have different friend circles, and this is super important. Like the social integration is very important.
Another question I wanted to ask you is that after completing studies, normally students get 18 months job search
Yes.
visa. Okay. So in how much time students can get permanent residency, PR?
Yeah, so basically after graduating, for example, from a master degree, around 2 years. But they do need a permanent working contract. So if it's
Yeah.
a temporary one, it's difficult. They need to have a B1 level, a permanent
Yeah.
working contract, and then they can start their application after 2 years
Yeah.
for the PR.
If student has completed 21-month job plus German language B1 level, then they can apply for PR.
Yes.
But if they do not have B1 level, then they have to work for 27 months.
Yes.
Yeah, that is also completely fine. 6 months more for not knowing the German language.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And last year, I think German government has changed the law as well for citizenship.
Yes.
Earlier, I think it was 8 years.
Correct.
Now it is 5 years.
Correct.
Yeah, so that is also really good for the students who are uh, targeting Germany as their further study destination.
Absolutely. And then for the citizenship, if a student already had applied then for PR, so the requirements to get the citizenship are not that much higher. So they will very naturally probably almost fulfill all the requirements already that they need for the citizenship if they manage to get the PR already.
And I think for citizenship, there is one examination that people need to give.
Yes.
What, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, they just need to know like they need to know about Germany. They need to know about the legal system.
Of course, then only Germany should give them voting rights, right?
Exactly. Yes, it's very true. Also about the history, about our culture when it comes to maybe musicians, sports, the cultural differences, maybe about the society. So they need to learn this. So it's like being in school, basically, also with the German history, for example. And then they need to write a test, and it's multiple choice, but they can prepare really well for those tests. Geography they need to learn, and but it's required, because if you want to be a citizen of a country, then
you must know this.
Exactly. And as a German, we learn this throughout our educational career, right? We learn this in school. And it's also very interesting, actually, to learn about those things. And I'm pretty sure it's possible also to.
I have many friends who have received who have got their citizenship. Approximately 6 years, like after 6 years, they have received it.
Yes.
Last year November, I think there was an election. They all posted photos that they are voting in Germany for the first time.
Oh, brilliant. Yes, yes. This is also a very exciting step once you get those rights in a country. Yes.
Now, my another question is that if we compare another countries like Canada, UK, Australia, or USA, how easy it is to get Germany student visa?
So the visa process in Germany, it depends on the embassy, of course, where you are. Some embassies are busier than others.
Yeah.
And also there's the APS requirement, which is to evaluate your academics. And that can take 2-3 months. It also depends on the on the time frame, on how busy it is, or when you start your application. And then generally, maybe a little bit more patience is needed than, for example, in the UK. But the visa success rate is still very high. And especially if students are very well prepared. If they seek advice with you, for example, and they have the documents right, they have their admissions letter place, then rejection rate is relatively low. And I think this is definitely a benefit. And there were so many economical and political changes in other countries. So Germany is definitely a solid and really good option at the moment.
See, at the moment, I have 3 to 4 students who are already in Canada, and I am supporting them in getting admissions in Germany. And then, like after coming back from Canada, they will go to Germany for studies because they don't see any future in that country. Okay. And at the moment, I have 4 to 5 other students as well. They were preferring USA earlier, but now they are in Germany. Okay. I personally believe that if one thinks about Germany, if one checks out the education system of Germany, then of course they are going to choose Germany. Because in UK, for example, it is possible to migrate from India to UK within 3 months. Like everything is really fast. If you, for example, if you give 1 lakh rupees, then you can get visa appointment really soon. But that is not the case in Germany. In Germany, I think money doesn't matter. Education quality, profile quality, that matters. And that should be. Because otherwise, the situation would be that there will be many international students in Germany and they will not be studying.
Yes, very true. And so in many countries, or in most of the English speaking countries, education is very commercialized.
Of course.
And in Germany, it really is not.
Yeah.
So yes, so this is why maybe it's a little bit more bureaucratic, maybe it takes a little bit longer, but then also the benefits are long term. And I think this is what students also need to look for. What do I want long term? In which kind of society do I want to live, maybe? Where do I want to integrate? What kind of benefits do I want to see after I put in all my work, the taxes? And I think that is also a very important decision to make. Where do I want to live long term?
Yes,
And I know sometimes students struggle in other countries to find a job that is related to their study field.
yeah.
So, because there are just not so many jobs available.
Because see, many students are choosing in other countries diploma courses as well.
Yes.
But in
Yes.
Germany, Germany is providing only bachelor's and master's program. Like that is really standard programs.
Yes.
Okay, so no certification courses are available in Germany. So if student chooses Germany, they have to work hard. But that is really good if one wants to be in that field after completing their studies. So if one person is choosing Germany, what's the advice you would like to give?
Like a general advice.
Yes,
Or-
general advice. If one student is choosing Germany at the moment, or maybe, yeah, then what advice you can give to them?
Yes, so patience. They
Yeah.
need to be a little bit patient, but with a very nice prospect of everything working out.
Yeah,
And I think this is already very important. And they need to get the right advice. They need to get the documents correct because this is super important. Because if something is missing, then it just prolongs the process, or they are getting a rejection. So everything needs to be well prepared. And then, as you mentioned earlier as well, even if they choose an English taught program, they should start learning the language.
of course.
Even A1, A2, like the minimum. Of
Yeah.
course, with B1, you already have a different kind of conversation level
Yeah.
that makes it easier to have small talk maybe. Go to a bakery, have a little chat once you're in Germany. So the German language is very important.
Yeah,
And then once they are in Germany, also get used to the environment first.
Yeah.
Make sure that you get enrolled, know how to get around, pick up your semester ticket,
Yeah.
do your Anmeldung, which is the city registration, get your visa extension, and then once you're settled, because you have the blocked account, which is your living cost,
yeah,
find a part-time job. Ideally, what I see is really helpful for students. They can do any kind of part-time job. They can
Yeah.
work in any kind of fast food restaurant or in a bar. They can work in a shop, stacking
Yeah.
the shelves. Those are very standard and normal
Yeah.
student jobs. But also in Germany, we have a concept of working student contracts.
of course.
That means that they can already start working in a company related to their study field. And usually the companies are very flexible when it comes to their
Yeah.
lecture time. So
Yeah.
they will support, they will make sure that the students focus on their studies and then very flexibly arrange the working time. And if they do well, I know of many students who were then taken over by the company.
Yeah.
And then maybe a general advice when it comes to finding a job. Of course, there are also jobs in English speaking environment, but as you mentioned, also German language will help.
Yeah.
And also they need to understand the differences between an Indian application here
Yeah.
and how you apply for a job in Germany. The CV might look different.
Yeah.
The motivation letter might look different. The interviews might go different. And I think they need to really understand what is expected
Yeah.
in an interview, in a job interview. Is there an assessment center afterwards? And once they understand this, those students are super successful. And I think, and I think it's all a little bit about research. And
Yeah.
Germany has a do-it-yourself mentality. So everywhere we have the support available for all the students. But what they need to do is the first step. And this is what they have to do themselves. For example, if the university has a career center, the career center will not approach them. They need to walk in, they need to
Of
schedule
course.
their appointment, they need to ask for help. And I think sometimes students are very shy, and in a lot of cultures or countries, this is like given to them. So they will be informed about it. In Germany, you have to find it out maybe yourself, but then they will get all the help they need. So, and that makes the students usually very successful. The ones who proactively see how do I go about the next step?
Yeah.
Who can help me? Who do I need to approach? And then this usually works out really well. And there are so many successful students. Also, so many students who manage to secure the blue card,
Yeah.
which makes it then even easier with settlement ideas and extending or getting your family over. So there are so many wonderful options that are open then. Yes.
I think most of the universities are doing job fair as well.
Yes.
And in these job fairs, students can go there and show them their CV.
Yes.
And there are many consultants, I think. They can help with the CV, like what should be there, what
Yes.
shouldn't be there.
Exactly.
Like they will suggest the changes.
Mhm.
So that is also really helpful.
Yes.
So students can find out what mistakes they are doing in their CV, because I personally feel that CV is the most important
Yeah.
when applying for the jobs, because that is the, of course, past history of that person.
Yeah, because the CV is your gateway. So
Yeah.
if you have a good CV, you will be forwarded for an interview. But also small things like dress code, for example.
Yeah.
So do you apply at a startup company that is very casual?
Yeah.
Or do you apply at a bank where you need to dress a bit formal? So maybe a suit and tie at the startup is not the right dress code. And then maybe they think, does the person fit in the team? So also this is very important to consider.
And most of our students, like the students whom I have taught German language, or whom I have advised to study in Germany and supported them, okay, most of them are doing internship first, and then they start research thesis.
Yes.
That they have to do in their bachelor's or master's program, and most of them are really picked by the that company.
Yes.
So the point that you have made is really correct, and people or students should focus on doing internship, because internship is a gateway in entering the German job market.
Yes. It helps them also to understand a company from within.
Yes, of course.
And then they understand maybe German company culture is a little bit better, and that really supports them.
See, if a person has worked in a German environment, then it is really easy for that person to find another job.
Yes.
Like if one has completed internship, then thesis is really easy, like not really easy, but it is feasible to do, to find. Okay. Now, since you are right now here in India, so how is the difference in weather? Like, how do you feel here in India, and how is the weather in Germany?
Yes. It depends where you are in India. So
Of course, in India has all kind of weather.
Exactly, you have everything. And I'm coming to India since many, many years, and I've traveled the whole country, so there are a lot of differences. But for example, here in Surat, it's quite warm.
Yeah.
This would be peak summer in Germany, probably.
Of course, of
So
course.
of course, sometimes the temperatures can go above 30 as well.
Yeah.
But this is not the norm. And but one wonderful thing in Germany is we have the 4 seasons. So we
Yes.
really have the winter, spring, summer, and autumn, and that is also very beautiful. But I know sometimes it can get quite cold. So we had a lot of snow in the past few weeks,
In
which
summer-
is exciting as well, right? To experience this.
In summer, most of the Germans are at the lake.
Yes, exactly. Or at the beach. That's not, Germany has. I come from the far north in Germany, so I grew up very close to the North Sea.
Yeah.
And we go swimming in the North Sea. It's a little bit cold, but it's possible. And we have wonderful beaches in Germany. And I think people always think there are the mountains, the Alps. But if you go to North Germany, you have two. You have the Baltic Sea and the North Sea.
North Sea, yeah.
Which is absolutely beautiful as well. Yeah.
Baltic Sea is near Hanover, right?
The Baltic Sea
About
is, so Kiel, Rostock, so in that area is the Baltic Sea, and then more towards Hamburg, Flensburg. That's the area with the North Sea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's do a rapid fire round. See, you have only 5 seconds to answer.
Okay.
Beer or coffee to start a German workday?
Start with coffee, finish with beer.
Okay. One German word every Indian student must learn.
Alles klar.
Alles klar.
Or genau.
Genau.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the word Feierabend.
Feierabend. That's a very good word. Yes.
Public transport or biking to university?
Biking.
Okay. The biggest myth about Germans?
That we are not friendly.
Correct. Best city for a student on a budget?
All the cities that you have never heard about.
Okay, yeah. Summer in the Alps or winter in Berlin?
Summer at the beach, at the North Sea, or at the Baltic Sea.
Okay. Expatrio or Fintiba in one word?
All-in-one solution for internationals.
Okay. Your favorite Indian dish you wish you could find more in Germany?
My favorite Indian dish. Pani puri.
Pani puri, yes.
And ras malai.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the number one trait that makes an Indian student successful in Germany?
learning German.
Perfect. Leila, it was really nice to meet you, and it was really nice to talk about this topic because this conversation is really helpful to our all students who are aspiring to study in Germany and who wants to work in Germany. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you so much for the invitation. And it's also really inspiring to see that so many Indian students learn the language already or start their process to come to Germany. And all I can say is that this is life-changing.
Yeah.
So it will be a life-changing experience, and I'm always very excited to see everyone in Germany.
And learning a new language is always fun.
Yes.
Yeah. We are learning new words, new grammar. Like that is
Yes.
really a really good experience
Yes.
that one can have.
Yes. And also, Indians know so many languages
Of
already.
course, yeah.
So I never understand why they would be scared to learn another language, because here you speak Gujarati,
Yeah.
Hindi, English. So that's three. Most of them maybe speak a fourth or fifth language. So there's a natural ability to learn a new language.
For me,
right?
German language was the fourth language.
The fourth language. Wow. Yes.
Mostly Germans can speak only two languages, right? German and English, maybe.
German and English, and we do learn a third language in school.
Yeah.
And some people take it a little bit further
Okay.
and then keep learning, and some just have then the school
Okay.
level, maybe Spanish or French.
Yeah.
Those are popular. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much also for the invitation, and it's always really nice to be here, and also to hear about your success and how many students you successfully sent to Germany. So this is very inspiring to see.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well.